Thank you. Thank you. Hi, my name is Rick Brimacombe, and on behalf of the Minneapolis Club and my firm, Brimacombe and Associates, welcome to Club Entrepreneur. Networking is a part of the reason that I started this group back in 2007. For those of you who know me, you can attest to the fact that I value the process of networking as well as cultivating a productive network. Well, I'm here to tell you that it works. If you missed the Sunday Star Tribune, 4Cubed, a client of mine, announced a $2 million investment from the Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures Group. It's the investment arm of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. That investment came completely from my networking. So make good use of your time today because you never know what's going to happen. All right, with that said, I want to thank our Club Entrepreneur partners, Swegman, Lumberg, Woosner, the intellectual property law firm. I know I got Rob over here and Dave over there. Olson Thielen CPAs, full-service accounting firm, and their valuation and forensic services group. I got Mike Bomelkamp over here. Helmuth and Johnson, a general practice law firm. Blake Nelson is someplace right over here. I'd also like to thank our Club Entrepreneur sponsors. Irish Titan, a web development and e-commerce company. I know I have Adrian and Darren over there. Adrian is the marketing ninjet, sorry. So see her for that stuff. M.A. Peterson, design build company doing refreshes, remodels, and new builds. Dave is here. Oh, Dave, going, oh, in the corner. Thank you. Without the generous support of these 5 partners and sponsors, events like this wouldn't happen, so please support them to the extent you can. On the announcement side, remember to RSVP through Brown Paper Ticket. Generally speaking, it's the first Thursday of the month. Generally speaking, networking starts at 11:15. For those of you who have been before, obviously today's a little different mix. Our topic is networking, so I thought I would change it up and do something a little different. Connecting with the group, there's a couple of different ways to do that. One is with the website clube.com. Another one is through the LinkedIn group Club Entrepreneur-Minneapolis. There's almost 1,500 people in that group, so that's a way to do it. And there's also an email list, so you can give me your card and do that. On February 18th, there's an intellectual property panel that I helped put together, Armor for Entrepreneurs. Swegman, Lumberg, Woosner, and Helmuth and Johnson are participating in that. See me if you're interested, again, February 18th. February 25th, and there's a card around the room on the tables, is the 5th Annual Entrepreneur Kickoff. This event is being sponsored by Minnesota Entrepreneur Network, and that includes a couple of groups I'm involved with, Mojo Minnesota and the Network Connect. That, again, this card here is February 25th. Joya Natural Soda over there, a product of Boundary Waters Brands. Carlton Johnson's doing some taste testing, so if you want to taste some very unique and special and good product over there, see Carlton. Minneapolis Club is co-host of this event, and if anybody wanted to learn more about the Minneapolis Club, see me or our fabulous marketing person over there. And future Club Entrepreneur events, March 5th, Got Millennials, Attracting, Retaining, and Incenting Millennials. So that's a panel discussion March 5th. April, we're going back a week because of spring break. Stepping outside the boundaries of traditional thinking, we're going to be talking about creativity and innovation, another panel discussion. And then as kind of a tag along with the January event on drones in May, we're going to be doing a panel discussion on the Internet of Things. And Kim Pearson of New Boundary over here, Kim's going to be one of our panelists. So kind of, like I said, kind of tied in with the January panel on drones. May, we're going to be doing Internet of Things. Okay. I talked about the name tags earlier, 8 different colors, an opportunity to meet 8 different people. The food is here. I can tell that a bunch of people haven't eaten yet, so please have the food. We got some tables to sit down, but have at that. We don't want to have that go to waste. And then on the speaker and the topic, again, networking was part of why I started this. This card here that's out at the tables, which talks about a way to connect with the group, the 3 little tagline items: peer support, productive relationships, and actionable content. Productive relationships is there for a reason, so today's an opportunity to meet more and more folks. And with that, on to our speaker. Teresa Thomas is a networking facilitator and professional connector. She's going to share a couple of her top networking tips. You're going to help us easily make some connections today. And then not only are you going to walk away having made some win-win connections, but you're going to have some insights to use at your next networking event. And so with that, please help me in welcoming Teresa Thomas.
All right. Thank you so much for having me here today. I have heard so much about Club E. I see Rick and what you're doing written up in Upsize Magazine. I see plenty of familiar faces, but lots and lots of new people that I've been able to meet. And I want to let you know just a little bit about myself, and that is, if you're wondering why you might learn something from me as a networker and the tips I share, it's because my general operating mode is to be shy. So I'm somebody that comes from being really shy to being somebody who professionally networks. And there's a whole story about how that transformed and changed, but we don't have time for that. So we just have 10 minutes today. We're doing things really different in Club E, and because they really wanted to have you really get to meet each other and have some guidance to maybe do some things in a way that's a little bit different than you might normally do in approaching your networking. So when I was thinking, okay, what could I possibly share in 10 minutes that you would find valuable? And how could I be a good resource for you so that you leave feeling like, yep, that was worth it. I'm really glad that I came. So as I was thinking, how could I be a good resource to help you? I realized that's it. To be a great networker, to get the best results out of your networking, it's to be a great resource. So we're going to practice some of those ways that we can be an even better resource than we've been before. You don't have to worry about taking notes if you want to. I've got some handouts at each table and at the high tops. And if you're interested, I can send you an email that has not just the tips that we're sharing today, but 10 tips in detail about how you can become a better resource in your networking. All right, so most everyone that I come into contact with, they get nervous about their networking and who they're going to meet and how they're going to approach that and what is their strategy going to be. So if you're feeling like that, just know that you're not alone. And even though I do this every day, I still get nerves about it. And we're all human, right? And we just want to connect. And that's basically what we're doing with each other. So I'll share a little story about one of our members. She had joined a couple of years ago, and she didn't tell me until later that she was pretty much forced to go to our networking group, and she really didn't want to be there. That was the last thing that she wanted to do. And she would go because she knew that she was responsible for growing business for this social media and design company. But then if you fast forward to now, you'll see that not only is she actively networking and enjoying it, she's even co-presented with me on networking on the social media side of things. She can't get enough of it. And she's become known as a really great person in our group. We have these annual awards. She was just selected for the Destined to Win award. The person who did not want to be there is now the Destined to Win award winner. So how did she go from being somebody who hated networking to being the person that people look to as, you know what, I want to know this person? And the way she did that is by being a great resource and helping people to connect with each other and sharing information that would be valuable and showing up and meeting new people and nurturing those relationships with the people that she knew. And I should let you know that Angie, I used her real name because she gives me permission to, if you want to know her last name in her company, I can tell you, but she has given me permission to share this story because she has firsthand seen the value of networking and what it can do for her. So I just want to let you know that. So what if you could be more memorable in your networking? And what if you could get more referrals and work with more of your ideal clients or customers or have people really eager to work with you? These are things that you can be better and more effective at by being a great resource. So we're going to practice some of these things today, and I'm going to give you just a few of those tips that I was going to share. Remember I said that we were going to try doing things just a little bit differently today? So the one thing I'd like you to consider is, what type of networker are you normally? And I'm not going to say that this is going to be something that you're comfortable with, but we're going to try it because we're all practicing here today. But if you're the kind of person that you typically go to an event and you seek out those people you already know, and then you talk with them. Or you bring your colleagues and you hang out at a table in a corner and you're not meeting new people. This is your time to get out and stretch that comfort zone and meet some new people. Or conversely, are you the type of person that maybe in the past you've been a little bit of a hit and run networker, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Think about how can you really nurture these relationships. So it might feel a little uncomfortable to have a longer conversation than normal, but try that out and just really see about nurturing those connections. Or maybe there are some people that you've met at a previous Club E event and reintroduce yourself and connect and get to know them even more than you have before. All right, so that's one tip I'm going to give. Is try doing something a little differently. All right, now, during your introductions, this sounds really simple, but we don't do it when we get nervous. And that's to really listen to what the other person is sharing with you. Some of the top things that people worry about in the networking are things like, well, how am I going to remember their name? I always forget their names. Or I can't remember what they do. Or what should I say about myself? But if you really listen, it does a few things. It helps you to know how you can be relevant, and that it helps you to hone down what you share about yourself, right? They're never going to know everything about you in a little bit of time, but the more you know about them, the more you can be relevant and clear and how you can be a good resource. And it also helps you to remember their name when you're not all caught up in your own head and thinking about how, what am I going to say next? It makes for a stronger connection, right? All right, so, and a bonus to how you can make a great introduction is to be a connector. Maybe you don't normally identify yourself in that way, but think about how, like earlier I asked that question, how can I be a good resource for you today? Ask yourself that question when you're meeting people about how you can be a good resource by making connections for them. So, for example, you may meet somebody and think, oh, I just met somebody else across the room that you should really meet. Would you mind if I introduce you? When you do that, you have also created an exit strategy for yourself and an entry strategy for the person that you're connecting, right? And don't we all love that? And I will tell you that's the number one thing people worry about is how to gracefully enter and exit conversations. And if you can make those introductions for people, they will love you for it. Even if they don't know that much about you, they're going to say, who was that person who helped me to meet somebody else? So I would suggest doing that. So here's an example. Kelsey Beach, she's the event planner, she's right there. You've been at events where I'll meet somebody who's saying, maybe says, oh, you know what, I work with AV, or I do video, or I am looking for a job in event management. And so I'm like, oh, well, have you met Kelsey yet? Well, let me march you over. And then, Kelsey, do you feel a little sense of relief? Like, oh, good. And you might be in a conversation like, oh, when you have a chance, I want to make sure you meet so-and-so. And then you're probably thinking, thank you. I get to meet somebody new. I get a graceful exit, a graceful entry. I get to remove myself. I know I'm kind of digressing, but I wanted to share that because I know that a lot of you get a little concerned about exiting and entering conversations. And lastly, making a plan to follow up. So you probably have lots of business cards that are on your desk that you had great intentions, but today, before you leave, if you can make a commitment to yourself to get this on your calendar, that you're going to follow up, not with every single, don't worry about following up with every single person that you meet, but follow up with somebody, right? And when you follow up, don't just send that, general LinkedIn click. They might not remember who you are. As fascinating as you are, remind them that you met here at Club E, and remind them of something that you talked about or something that stood out about them. And then the really great way to stand out is offer a helpful resource. Maybe it's an event that they should know about, or somebody that you want to introduce them to. Just think of, or an article. It could be any of those things, and it can be really simple, but you'll really stand out. And there are people that years down the line, there will be some way you'll intersect, and they'll remember you because you helped them. All right, so I'm counting down 49 seconds left of my presentation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time to get to know each other, and we're going to try these different things. So we're going to try to either deepen or broaden your network when you're here today. we're going to have introductions where we really listen to each other and we don't feel rushed. And the bonus is that if you can try to be a connector for someone, it doesn't always happen, but if you can be, it's really fun to play that role. And then lastly, to have that plan for following up and cementing those connections that you made so that they can go even further. So we're going to let you have the rest of the time to network and eat and meet each other. If you have any questions for myself or Rick, we'll all be around. But I hope that you enjoy your connecting, and we'll converse, come back a little bit later in the event to do the wrap-up. Thank you.